Hi, my name is Mitchell Barchin. I will be discussing the Second Life project in the virtual world. Today I will be looking at 3 colleges inside the United States that have implemented Second Life. Next, I will be looking at 3 universities and colleges outside of the United States that have implemented Second Life and in what areas each of those universities and colleges have used it. Um, I will then be discussing advantages that I had found with Second Life, followed by any drawbacks I had noticed about the software or with the use of Second Life. Finally, I will be providing my personal opinions about it and answering a few questions. So the first college I'd like to talk about is Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Daytona Beach, Florida. One thing that this university I use Second Life for is in regards to their Chinese professor training. They had found the ability to actually bring in native speakers on Second Life to teach their faculty ways to teach the language was very effective and yielded better results than trying to teach them over other methods. The second U.S. college I will be discussing is Tulane University School of Continuing Studies in New Orleans, Louisiana. They also implemented Second Aid as a training aid for their teachers around the world, and also to connect to their wide student body that spans across many different countries. The third U.S. college that we will be looking at is the University of Texas Arlington in Arlington, Texas. One thing that they did is they actually used Second Life as a conference tool and a fundraising tool. A student started a nightclub in Second Life where they charged users 250 in-game currency dollars to partake in the nightclub or the dance party, and then that was exchanged for real life currency to donate to charity. Also, they used it as a conference tool to have meetings and give presentations. Outside the United States, we'll be looking at the University of Warwick in Coventry, West Midlands. They had used this predominantly as a conference tool and a way to communicate with their faculty members, especially on travels and when they are off campus. The second college outside the United States is the University of the West of England in Bristol, United Kingdom. One thing that they used Second Life for was as a conference tool. They had rented out an island in the game, to which point they were able to host private conferences and meet everyone on faculty and their students accordingly. The third college is the University of Sheffield in Sheffield, United Kingdom. One thing that they did different was they actually used Second Life in their art programs and their history programs to bring the actual material to life. One example is they recreated the Sistine Chapel in game, so users and students could actually see with their own eyes the beauty and the architecture of the Sistine Chapel and draw their own conclusions accordingly. Some advantages I had noticed. The first one is a complex model interaction in Second Life, the ability to create perfect 3D models of complex equipment, as allowing students to better understand the inner workings of these complex machines. The second is fundraising. Second Life allows users to exchange in-game currency into real money. It was $295 of in-game currency was $1 US, and this has allowed students to raise money for charities that they care about. The third was worldwide access. Second Life allows users to connect for anywhere in the world. And this allows students to create work connections and meet new people. The fourth is new spaces for students. Second Life allows programmers to create replicas of their own universities in Second Life to allow students to meet each other and host events. This, again, allows them to create connections. The fifth is reduced population. Since Second Life is a virtual world, there are no harmful effects on the real world environment. There is no production of trash or any other pollution. The sixth is interactive learning. Second Life provides students with the ability to see the items being discussed with their own eyes versus reading them out of a book. An example of this would be the Leaning Tower at Pisa. Students can better understand the interesting tower better by seeing it than reading it out of a book. The seventh is a high level of engagement. Second Life provides faculty and students the ability to stay engaged, even when they are both located nowhere near each other. This obviously allows professors to stay one-on-one and connect with their students even if they aren't face-to-face. The eighth one is simulated research test. Second Life allows students and faculty the ability to carry out research virtually to save on costs and see if the plan works. This allows, like I said, the ability to test to see if the hypothesis is accurate or if it can be replicated. The ninth is access to information. Since Second Life does have libraries, they do populate them with real books, with real life information. So this allows users, especially in countries that censor what information citizens can use, the ability to learn it and cause their own conclusions. And the last one is hosting meetings. Second Life does allow players to seamlessly meet each other with clients and groups and host meetings, especially either in public or private islands. Some drawbacks I noticed with the avatar creation is very hipster, very young oriented, and catered to a lot of the youth. So there aren't a lot of business options. One user had claimed that the female avatars only allowed exposed midriffs, which would not be appropriate in most professional settings. The second was outside players ruining meetings or classes. Since Second Life is an open player game, anyone is allowed to join. And this can allow outside players to interrupt classes by killing students or just causing chaos. The third is cyberbullying. Second Life is completely virtual, so this obviously can lead to cyberbullying because you can remain anonymous behind a computer. The fourth is power requirements. Second Life is a very intensive game. It does require a large PC and performance package to run it. The fifth is attendance. There is no way for faculty members to make sure the students are actually in class or just leaving their avatar there. The sixth is the level of work may drop. I mean by this that the faculty does not have a way to understand or see what the students understand. They can't read their body language or emotions. So this may lead to the level of understanding and overall work dropping accordingly. And of course, 7, there is a learning curve because Second Life is a video game. Not everyone is as savvy while using it, so this can lead to other problems. In my research, I have found that Second Life is currently being used in smaller universities and more trade schools. I have found, though, that with COVID-19, it is being implemented in a lot of larger universities right now. But I have found that a lot of it is being used in history, art, and mostly design classes as a way to reinvigorate the information and keep the students interested. Outside of the United States, I had found that Second Life is rarely used. I have a feeling this is a large part to the insurance and legal problems, gray areas with Second Life, since there is no real way to claim or prove that someone committed a crime. However, this isn't always the case. A lot of provinces and countries around London and the UK have implemented it, and a lot of East Asian countries are as well, such as China, Singapore, and I believe Japan. My personal overall opinion is I think Second Life is a fantastic tool to use in college and universities, due in large part to the ability for Second Life to bring information to life instead of just words in a book. I do feel that the largest pro in Second Life is the ability to connect a worldwide student base while still providing that hands-on feel of being actually in person in a classroom. However, the largest con going for Second Life is the price needed to actually run it effectively. It is, like I said, a very intensive program, and this can actually end up leading to you alienating your student body that cannot afford the parts and the PC to actually run the software effectively. There are numerous ethical issues that do arise when it comes to Second Life. Obviously, with it being virtual, you do not know who committed the crime or who is behind the computer. So it is very difficult for anyone to actually be prosecuted for anything done in Second Life. This leads obviously to large-scale cyberbullying and exploitation of users because there isn't a whole lot of legal actions that can be taken. Personally, I would recommend Bradley University try Second Life, but only if they create a lab to cut down on the costs. I do believe Second Life is a very expensive program to run, and I think asking your student body to pay for a PC that is capable of running it is completely unethical and unnecessary. But I do believe that Second Life could bring a new, interesting level to a lot of our history, art, and design classes here at Bradley. Personally, I have never been involved in a Second Life project. I think it'd be very interesting to try out, and I'm not definitely closed off the idea. But with it being so expensive to run, I obviously do not have a PC strong enough to support the software. However, as I stated, if Bradley University found a way to create a lab that you could try out Second Life, I would 100% be interested in trying. Um, but just to quickly conclude, Second Life is a fantastic tool, providing students and faculty the ability to bring new ways and keep learning interesting for students, especially now with COVID-19 on the rise. I do wish that Second Life was not as expensive to run and maybe more optimized, so not as strong or not as powerful PCs can run it. But I do think that it wasn't really the case or the purpose for it. I believe it was more designed for a total conference platform and a research platform, which I think it has done very well. But thank you all for listening to my recording of Second Life Project, Virtual Worlds. Have a great rest of your evening.